this video, I'm hoping to show you how you can expand the use of your moulds just by pouring in a slightly different way. So I've mixed up some Aqua Cast, which I've tinted with a red pigment to give me a pink colour, and I'm going to pour it into this mould to start my base. I'll help it to release the bubbles, and then I'm going to put it to the side so that it can set. It's all set now. It's been sitting here for about 90 minutes, so I'm going to demould it. Check to see if there are any air bubbles. It looks good, so it's just going to need a sanding on the bottom, and then I'll let it dry for 24 hours. While I'm leaving that to dry, I can pour my next piece. I've mixed up 100 grams of the Aqua Cast powder with 35 grams of water, and I'm adding 2 drops of black pigment and just swirling it slightly to create a marble effect. Now I'll pour it into the mould, but only part way. I only want to create the walls of the pot. I don't want to tap too much because I don't want to destroy the marbling, but I'll set it aside to dry. Okay, now it's dry, I can demould it. Check that everything's okay. Looks nice. I have a couple of tiny bubbles, but that'll be okay as it was going to be hidden by another piece. Now I'm going to clean the mould with a baby wipe, and then I'm going to repeat this process a further 2 times. My pieces are dry now, and I'm going to fit this piece on top of the base. I'll move it around to find the best fit, but I actually find it works if you stick like for like edges. So I'll stick the 2 top edges together. You can see that there is a very slight overhang here, but when I turn it upside down in a minute, you'll be able to see that there is very little overhang. It fits really well. And I'll just stick it together with glue. Okay, I'm using a B7000 glue, which I got from Amazon, and I'm just going to apply it to the top edge of the mould, the base mould, and then I will flip the partial mould and glue it to the top. I'm just using a stick to try and get rid of any excess, but actually I end up wiping it with a cloth. For the next piece, I decided to use a water marbling technique to try and decorate it. Unfortunately, I didn't do very well filming it, but I've left it in here just so that you can get some idea of what I did. It's really better to dip it only once and try and cover it. It doesn't actually stick very well once it's got wet. This piece had already thoroughly dried for 24 hours and it needed to dry in the sun a little longer now. So this is what it looks like now that it's dried. I've already stuck the grey piece together, you saw that already. So I'm going to find the best fit, and like I've said, it works better if you put like edges together. So this is the 4th piece, and I'll fit that onto the top. This is what it hopefully will look like once it's all stuck together. So all I have to do now is glue it. I'm using the B7000 glue, which I'm going to apply to the top edge of the grey piece. Then I'll stick the pink piece on top so that both of the top edges of the pour will be bonded together. I'll use a couple of pieces of painter's tape just to hold it together while it's drying and setting. When I come to place the final piece on, the finished edges are going to need to bond together, which means that I will have a raw edge exposed. So I'm going to need to sand that and just chamfer it a little. So I'm just taking some sandpaper and I'm just going to try and round this edge and make it a little smoother, a little more finished. It's fully cured and it's really quite hard, so I'll finish this off camera as it's going to take quite a bit of work. I have sanded the top of this now, which was the bottom of the mould, just to give it a bit of a bevel. And then I'm going to bond the like edges. So this was the top of the mould, bottom of the mould. Let me get the mould so I can show you what I mean. Okay, when I poured this, this is the area that this was formed on. And as you can see, this has got a slight chamfer. So now I'm going to glue this two edges together. They work better if you glue like for like edges together. So I'm just going to do exactly the same as I did before and use this glue. Just run a bead make sure I put the pin in and then bond them together. Oops, nearly did the wrong edge. And then I'll hold them together with a bit of tape until it sets. Which is a good couple of hours, and it'll cure properly in 24 hours. So this just needs some varnish now that it's all stuck. It's bonded quite well. As you can see, it probably would have been easier to varnish the pieces on the inside, but I'm going to use this long brush just to apply the varnish. So it's not going to be easy for me to show you, but I'm literally just brushing the varnish on. I'm using the same acrylic varnish as I usually use. I'm just going to literally pour some in there and try and coat the inside. Just need to seal the surface. This is never going to hold water. I'm not going to hold water or anything in it. It's just a pen pot, so I don't need to worry too much. So I'm just going to carry on and do that, and I'll use my fingers to coat the outside and I'll be back. I've decided I want this bottom piece here to be a little bit more pink than it turned out to be. So it's not too late. I'm going to change that. I'm going to use a distress ink pad and a blending brush. And I'm just going to pick some up. I'm just actually going to see if I've got a bit of paper somewhere to make sure that this is actually clean. Yeah, that's clean. Okay, so I'm just going to take the ink and rub it in. To the surface. Just keep blending, blending, blending. Do it gently. Keep rubbing the brush. And as you can see, it's red at the moment. It looks very red on camera. It's not actually add, so I'm going to continue to do that around the outside. It's very difficult to show you at the same time as doing it, but right. Now I'm going to take a baby wipe. Because Distress ink is water activated, I'm just going to scrunch the baby wipe up and dab the surface. Twisting it around a little bit. And then I'm going to let it dry. We'll come back and have a look, and you can always add more if you're not happy with the look that you get. We'll let it dry and we'll see what it looks like in a minute. Okay, it's dried now and you can see it's given some texture, and I think it blends a little better with it. I literally used what was left over on the baby wipe just to dab along the top, and that's imparted some texture and colour to the top piece. I think it blends a lot better. So now all that's left to do is just varnish the outside, and I am literally going to use my hand. As I say, this is water based, it washes off. This varnish will seep into the join and help to strengthen that too, but the glue that I used is really good, really strong, so I needn't have too much worry, bar dropping it on the floor, that it would actually come apart. So I'm just going to smooth that over. And let it dry, and then I'll do the other side. And again, it'll have several coats. And I'll be back when I finish that. Okay, so I've finished, and you can see it's got a lovely glossy shine. I've put some felt on the bottom, and I'll show you what it looks like close up. So this is the one that we did the Distress ink after we'd finished and it had dried. This was just black pigment marbling. This was water marbling with the spray paints, and that was just, I literally dabbed the baby wipe that had the excess Distress ink onto it. And that's what it looks like inside. And there you go. Okay, so here it is. I've got some pencils and tools in it. You can use it as a pen pot, you can put hairbrushes in it. I think there's quite a wide range of uses for it. It's quite heavy, therefore it's stable, and as you can see there's still plenty of room inside. So here you can see I've already made another one which I use to store glasses beside my bed. Change up the number of layers that you use. Gives you a lot of scope to expand your mould. I hope you'll look at your moulds in a different way and see if there's anything that you can use slightly differently just by pouring part of it and thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you come back again another time. Bye.